Hey folks, this week on Learning Curve Tip, we're going to talk to you about transition zones for white-tailed deer. Stay tuned to Fuel the Fire TV.
Life offers no guarantees, but the one thing that we've learned for sure is that the time we have is indeed precious. The more time we spend with family, with friends, and with nature can make the difference between living a good life and living a great one. Join us on our quest to be participants rather than observers, to learn from our mistakes, to share our successes and our failures as we spend all the time we have chasing our dreams, fueling our passion, and fueling our fire in the great outdoors.
Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by Closed captioning for Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by Island Sunrise Cottages.
Hey folks, welcome to Fuel the Fire TV. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about two things. The first thing is sharing with you some details about how you can improve your odds hunting small tracts of land by paying attention to transition zones.
And secondly, we're going to talk about why hunting is so important to us, spending time with family and friends. Let's check out our 2013 season.
Okay, it's October 24th. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon. We come in a little bit late. I had to get my son off the bus. He wanted to come deer hunting tonight. That's my little guy. He's 5 years old. There was already doe and a fawn in the food plot here. They're really hitting it hard now. We've had frost, and it's sweetened up now, and they're really hitting it hard. The first food plot we drove through, it was mowed right off. This one's still got quite a bit.
Okay, it's November 7th. The rut is kicking on pretty intense right now. Yesterday I had a little buck, nice little 8-pointer. He come running right into the grunt call and just didn't present a good shot on him. So today we're going to head to Neil's farm. We're going to hunt a little food plot we call it the Potato Patch.
The temperatures dropped right out. It's like -11. When I walk in, there was a spike horn in the food plot already. And I didn't see the other deer, but there was 3 other bucks there, all smaller ones. And when I looked to my right, there was a bigger body, bigger rack. I didn't really get a good look at him. There's got to be a hot doe here somewhere. So. Couple does and a fawn come in, and the doe, her tail was twitching like crazy, which pretty good indication she's getting close to get into heat. So just a few minutes later, he was probably about a little 8-pointer, probably 2.5-year-old animal, and he come running in and scared everything out of the food plot. I mean, he was hurt pretty bad. I don't know if it was from an arrow or from fighting, but he's basically lost on one side of his antlers. We'll sit out the night and see what happens. Maybe the big guy's just lurking in the woods. Okay, it's the second day of rifle season. That storm's blown through, and I mean it blew through. Anyway, temperature dropped about -2 this morning. Should be a perfect morning. We're not necessarily looking for the biggest, baddest buck in the woods, but if we can see anything that's reasonable to shoot with him, to get him the interest of hunting, to see what hunting's all about, then I'm probably going to try to take him. I normally wouldn't shoot anything that's a year and a half old or anything, but because we want to get our young people hunting, I'm saying it's good. Green light, give it to them. We just need one to walk out for. Are you excited to be here? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
show deer. We are happy, and Dad shot it.
Okay, like I said, we're not gonna be real fussy today. Let's Bighorn come in, and you know what? It's all about getting people outdoors. Fuel your fire, fuel the passion. That was funny, buddy. You got to see that deer. We're gonna give him a few minutes and go check him out. I made a neck shot, so I'm pretty sure he's expired.
I know he's not the biggest, baddest buck in the woods, but you know what? I shot him with my little guy. He's 5 years old. Deer like this, it's okay to shoot him when you got kids out in the outdoors like this, but he's getting the excitement, the knowledge of deer hunting in general. And I'm so proud of this little buck. Proud of you, buddy. Fuel your passion, fuel your fire, and get outdoors.
We're heading down to Lineville, Iowa. We're heading down to Barry Wenzel Whitetail Boot Camp. We're expecting to get a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of experience and wrap that into some wisdom. And hopefully that wisdom is going to be able to assist us in nailing that buck of a lifetime this coming fall. Back on Manitoulin or wherever else we
This
go.
segment of Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by Great Spirit Circle Trail.
So there we are down in Iowa, and it's springtime. Nothing really to hunt down there. I really didn't know who this Barry Wenzel character was until I got there. But when I did, it didn't take me very long to figure out this guy knows his stuff when it comes to hunting white-tailed deer.
Yeah, Barry is an icon when it comes to taking deer with his longbow for sure. And we got a special treat while we were there. Barry Wenzel invited us into his home to look at his trophy room and wall-to-wall monster bucks. And every buck there has a story to it.
One of the things that really stuck out for me when we went to Iowa is how much attention Barry pays to two things: playing the wind and transition zones. It's actually all he really does to hunt those big Iowa whitetails, and man, is he successful.
And we're standing right there 50 yards from here, and it doesn't look like there's anywhere near the sign there. I mean, that wick hasn't been touched. You know, there's no active scrapes there. There's no really obvious trails there. And you look at this. I mean, it's just there, and it's going right to it. So there's absolutely, you know, traffic going through here. So again, and there's the man was right down there. If you want to go take a picture of that rub, that's, you know, obviously, you know, good mature buck.
He sure shared a lot of knowledge with us that weekend. We learned a lot and gave us the idea of the 100-acre hunter.
That's right. And when we talk about transition zones, there are a couple of obvious ones. The first one we want to share with you is the apple orchard or fruit orchard that meets a forest. If you're lucky enough to have this transition zone on your property, it's good until the last piece of fruit hits the ground. Hunt that spot through the bow season and your odds of success are very, very high.
Okay, rifle season opens on Monday. It's Saturday. Saturday evening. This is probably our last bow sit here. We still have that south wind. There's a huge storm front moving in. They're calling for gusting winds of 70 kilometers an hour tomorrow. I wasn't going to sit tonight. We were trying to get another stand up anyway. I just said, you know what, get back in the stand. And we're waiting for that big buck to walk by. I spooked a couple of does coming in this morning. Hopefully they've settled down. And come nightfall, they'll start to funnel out to these big fields of clover down below. Okay, here comes a doe into the field. I can hear a buck coming. Yep, he's coming this way. I can hear him grunting. Step for step, he's on her trail. He's going exactly where that doe was. She's in heat for sure. Okay, I'm gonna take this deer. Hey folks, you saw it. I think I just got I think it's my best buck with a bow. He's a little 8-pointer. He came in hot. He was chasing and chasing. I don't know if I hope I got him in the frame of that picture. Doe came in, she took 15 minutes to come in, and that buck came out of nowhere and just started running the bush. He's down right there. I'm gonna go check him out. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm stoked. It's never a bad idea to take your best buck with a bow.
Hey folks, this is my little buck for 2013. He's an 8-point, looks like a 2.5-year-old 8-pointer out here at the farm. We've been at it like crazy for 6 weeks trying to get a decent buck on video. There are bigger bucks around, we know that, but we've been going at it so hard. This is my biggest buck with my bow, and I have no qualms about taking your best buck, especially with a compound bow, and doing it on video, self-videoing your own hunt. I couldn't be more happy. I'm tickled pink, actually. Remember folks, fuel your passion, fuel the fire, and get outdoors. We'll be right back. You know, whenever you harvest an animal with whatever equipment you choose to use, be proud of yourself and be grateful for the opportunity to be out in the wilderness. I was absolutely proud of myself for taking that fine buck, and what even thrilled me more was that year, my dad, who was 65 at the time, was able to pull the trigger on a real decent 8-pointer. Now I knew that deer was walking around on the farm. I had him on video a couple of times, and I was just beside myself when he took that animal and harvested it in 2013.
We're hunting with my dad and my brother. We think we heard my dad take a shot, but hard to say. Anyway, we're gonna go check it out.
This is awesome. What did I say? I said, I want Bud to shoot a buck. I hope he shot a buck. Awesome, Bud. That's awesome, man. That is just awesome. I don't know who was happier. Actually, I do. I was happier when my dad took that animal. It was a great example of him fueling my fire and fueling the passion by getting himself outdoors. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This segment of Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by Wikwemikong Tourism.
Another great transition zone for white-tailed deer is when you have a coniferous or an evergreen bush mixed up or butted up against a hardwood bush. We call this the sugar bush. So to the west, we've got a whole stand of evergreens, of pines and cedars, and that makes great bedding area for those big bucks. We don't disturb that too much, and we know that come the rut, those big bucks will cruise this ridge line which butts right up against the sugar bush. It gives them great security on this side, and then the food source is down here, and that's where these deer start to transition in those twilight hours, searching out and scent checking those fields. You've seen Junior Pro Staffer Justice Corbier harvest his first goose on our Heritage Day hunt, and now he's ready to lug his camera into this transition zone all on his own. He shows a great deal of patience, and he makes an excellent shot.
I'm Justice Corbier, pro staff on Fuel the Fire TV from Chaging First Nation, and and I was lucky to harvest this small 8-pointer this morning. My last hunt, the last day of the rifle season. Remember to get outdoors and feel the fire.
Hydrolines are another great spot to ambush some white-tailed deer. Warren chose this spot because it's actually an overlap of two great ambush spots. One, it's a deserted hydroline and a swamp. This trail goes a long ways, and it goes all the way down, probably 400 or 500 meters down to the end where there's a big cedar swamp. Now deer feel safe. There's browse there, or they'll skirt around the outside of that swamp, and they feel nice and comfortable. We planted it with clover, which is a perennial, and we just let it sit. So every year we come in and we trim it down, and then the deer will come in and eat that fresh green browse. So deer have used this trail for a long time. It's overgrown, so they're accustomed to the cover that's here, that's grown up here, lots of concealment. And the other part is that it's backed by some dense cedar. And we've checked and we've walked around, it's hard to get around, but there are scrapes when the rut starts and rubs all the way through those cedars. They not only cross this opening, but they actually travel down it. Warren picked an awesome spot. He shot several deer out of this stand. Let's check out one of those hunts.
My name is Warren Corbier, coming to you from Chigging First Nations, Ontario. This deer isn't one of my biggest deer, but I'm very proud of it. Big bucks are hard to come by, but we were lucky enough to have a good shot at this one and take it. So put some back straps on the barbecue. Oh yeah, remember.
This segment of Fuel the Fire TV is brought to you by North Meridian Enterprises.
Welcome back to Fuel the Fire TV. The last transition zone that we want to talk about is the one where a beaver pond meets standing timber. Not necessarily a great spot for the abundance of food, but really for the funnel created where these two edges meet. During the rut, bucks feel secure cruising along those edges as they search for those does in heat. In this next piece of footage, we almost lost all of it due to technical issues, but we were able to salvage Warren's kill shot on this great 125 class triple beam buck cruising along a beaver pond timber transition zone. Hey folks, in this week's Learning Curve tip, we're at Wildlife Artistry Custom Taxidermy in Orangeville, Ontario. We're with our show taxidermist, Wayne as a party. And what we have here is Warren Corbier shot this deer on video. He self-videoed his own deer, and it was a triple beam buck. We chased this buck for a long time. He was lucky enough to shoot him on the 4th day of rifle season. Now, the only thing is we were in a little bit of a rush to get this deer caped out, and we assigned it to a couple of our junior pro staffers. We're not gonna name names right now, but what they did was they made a mistake. Wayne's gonna walk us through what happened.
Yeah, what happened here is that the guys, when they did cape out the deer, is that they went too far forward and did not give enough skin to mount the deer, so they cut off the deer roughly about where the beginning of the brisket starts. So we had to find a skin that was the same measurements of the deer that was the original deer that was harvested. Now you get the full brisket of the deer in the mount, And when you do cape out a deer, you want to leave anywhere between 8 to 10 inches back behind the front legs. So when you sock out the deer, you're going to be skinning out the deer all the way to the base of the neck, of where the neck and the head meet. There's a joint, and you want to take it off from there. You do not want to leave anywhere like 3-4 inches of meat. What that happens is that when you freeze it and it comes to me, it takes an extra 3 or 4 days to thaw out, and that's where bacteria is going to grow. So you want to be able to take it off right here at the joint, and that will be the proper way of taking off the skin and bringing it to your taxidermist.
The main point is to give more than what you think, right? And I know we've done that in the past, is that we want to give, it's almost half of the cape, really, to give you as much a deer as you could work
you're
with.
almost giving me half the deer. So right where the legs are, you want to give me 8 to 10 inches back behind the front legs. And then you're going to sock it out right to the base of the neck. And then from there, you've properly skinned out the deer for your taxidermist.
Perfect. That's a good learning curve tip, folks. And there you have it. Hunting for us is not just a pastime. It's a part of how we live, and we want to pass that on to our kids. You're passing it on to your son. My dad passed it on to me. Warren passed it on to Justice, and I definitely am passing it on to my daughters.
That's right. This show is about spending time with family and friends. And next week, I get to take good friend Mark Boudreau on his first moose hunt.
And I get to cover the Manitoulin Salmon Classic. We catch some great fish, it's a ton of fun, and we get some good footage. Remember, folks, to fuel your passion and fuel your fire, you have to get outdoors. We'll see you next week.